YouTube, we're back. Airbus A380. Some new details. If you're wondering, no, that's not acne. Those are pitot tubes, angle of attack indicators, all sorts of other goodies on the nose. The nose was so naked before. Goodness gracious, this thing has turned out so pretty. I gotta be honest, it's a lot better than I expected given the beginning view, which is horrifically bad. Somebody wanted to see a before and after, so I'm just gonna do it on my phone just to make it easy. Alright guys, so that's the before. Look how stinking ugly it was, guys. Look at the nose gear. What the heck happened there, right? It's just pukedelic. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at the profile before. Look at the profile after. I'm telling you, this little spot right there makes a huge difference. See? Horrible nose. Wonderful nose. It's the same plane, guys. Look how much better that looks. Look how much better it looks, guys. I can't believe how much better it turned out. Boy, that doesn't work very good filming another camera with another camera. That's so stupid, but whatever. Just the landing gear. Gosh, look at the Airbus logo. Look at the absence of a bunch of other stuff, too. Look how dumb it looks with that angle, guys. I'm telling you. If you go through and spend the time on this thing, it looks so much better. See, I had pulled this out at an angle to try to get it level to simulate what we'd be looking at. And they had the stupid dash in there. Oh gosh, I forgot so many of these details. It's like a million pictures I've taken of this thing. So maybe I have to do one of those fancy slideshows for you guys when I'm all done. And what I'm going to be doing now is getting back to the point. I'm sorry, I had to take a second and show it off because it's turned out way better than expected. These things are a little bit of a pain. Yes, you could probably bend them over. I got to put this thing potentially upside down for a minute. And so I'm going to be doing some Edf balancing today. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to show you how I'm going to protect these in the meantime. I have some just masking tape and X-Acto knife and scissors, excuse me, and my thought was to just go with basically some of this foam, okay, which will be easy. In fact, I want to go with something that I can't use for another project, so probably something like this. And this is going to be super duper easy. I have a bunch of holes drilled in here from previous projects, and so I had thought about actually doing it even simpler, which is just cutting one of these, and these are the multi-layer pieces. There's like layers here, and just kind of cutting a hole for a pocket, and then just protecting the antennas with these little covers. And then what that'll do for us, of course, is allow us to put it upside down with impunity. And if you're careful, you won't hit any of your decals. And since this is just a masking tape, it shouldn't actually peel anything off from finish. So that, and we'll probably just do the ones that we think we're going to hit. If you don't do this, you're probably fine. But I just don't. I don't want to find out to the contrary right now because I'm so close to the maiden, which is going to be, I'm really hoping the weather holds out today. But I've got one step that just really needs to be addressed right now, and that's to try to balance these EDFs. If you try to fly these things on unbalanced EDFs, you may run into problems like not having enough speed in your EDF, and there's a variety of other problems that you can run into. So, but you can see this isn't hard. It's going to take a second. So I'm going to do that real quick and come right back. Okay, so I've got the antenna protected now, the top ones. what we're going to do is we're going to run this into the shop. And, of course, you can balance the EDFs in whatever direction you want, or however you want to do it, if you're going to do it at all. And I guess I say you should, and I really mean that. You really should try to balance these EDFs, and that I'd be maidening if I wasn't balancing them. So this is a 40C pack. I want to show you my battery game plan, okay, before we get out in the field. Okay, radio's on just in case I want to power it on. You always want to make sure your radio's on, and then make sure you've got your model selected, throttle cuts on. I don't really know why the gear switch is on. I wonder if I need to mix in a high rate and a low rate for my differential thrust. Okay, so we'll just probably go ahead and pop this off for now. Or, like we've done in the past, you can stick that on there. It's always good to get your testing for how you're going to handle stuff in the field. Okay, so the 5000 milliamp 3S 60C. You see I've got a Velcro strap in there now. So this, just to demonstrate, it does fit, but it's tight. Toiga. And it's wanted to unbond that first seam. But there's enough other seams that I think we're okay for now. If I plan on keeping with this battery as my primary flight pack, which it'll always be one of the packs, then I may have to rearrange. But like, it's so tight, you can reposition it to kind of modify the CG. I've read on a reputable source on RC groups that this plane is CG insensitive to a degree, which may be why the manufacturer didn't actually put the CG in there, which is totally stupid. Just put it in there anyway. But my CG ends up being kind of right in front of this groove. Depending on which pack I use, it doesn't change that much, just because the amount of size and everything just doesn't change that much. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so just to show you, this will go all the way back in and seat down there. But it doesn't quite get to the point where you can pull the lead up the top. Okay, so I would have to modify this anyway if I was planning on using this pack all the time. And I hate pulling leads, guys. So we're going to make a fix for that right now. Right here, right now, we're going to fix that. Because I always forget about that sort of thing until it's too late. We're going to go with this or this. I want to keep it light, and I want to keep it concealed as much as possible. So I think we'll probably go with a thin strip. And the way, the rationale behind this, of course, is just you don't want to yank on your leads. You will take life off your packs. Not from a standpoint of you're going to damage it electrically. You're just eventually going to break the wires off. So, and that's not crying wolf, guys. I haven't ever ripped leads off, but I know that they get weaker. And I know I'm a lot more careful with my batteries than some people. Okay, so basically this will just give me something to hang on to, but not so much as something that it's like in the way all the time, and it prevents it from going into another plane. And if it does, we'll just change it around a little bit. But that should give me a tail with plenty of surface area to hang on to. Okay, so we'll do that. Now, the other size packs that I had in mind for this are maybe not as tight. Look at Toiga. So I'll show you those. This is the 3S 3000 milliamp hours, or 3 amp hours if you prefer. You can throw this in there and it fits good. But being that this one's small enough, you can actually get the lid, the magnetic closure, to fit on there. Okay, so you can depend on the magnetic closure if you'd like to do so. And that's really nice. Now, the catch is, if I want to fly it on 2 of those packs, which, by the way, I'm going to be flying on this first because it's going to make it more nose heavy. And I'm probably going to fly it with it poked out a little bit, because I would rather fail to roll than crash from being tail heavy. So, since it's not posted, since nobody seems to know it's this magical pseudo center of gravity, I'll tell you what, this freaking thing was CG sensitive. And it probably has something to do with the fact that I did the 600 configuration, where I added this extra length in here and here. This length and this length is extra. Otherwise, it would have been a 300 configuration, which is a real plane, okay? The A380 600 is fictitious. But I have 3 neodymium magnet sets, so a total of 6. And they're like, 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters, or 20 by 20 millimeters. So they're very big, and they're probably about like 3 or 4 centimeters deep, or no, millimeters deep. So they're very heavy, and I can land that thing, and I've only had the nose break once, and it was because I pretty much had a horrible landing. So, oh, and then this other one, the second one, would go right here. And yes, it does fit, and yes, it is tight enough to be satisfactory to me. But if I intend to do this, I will overhaul the battery holder to make it easier, because this is going to be really tough in the field if I end up flying on 2 packs like this. But the cool thing is I can really get that CG dialed in if I have any sensitivity, because I can have the first battery in there, and then I can have second battery slid up forward or slid back all the way. And the cool thing is it's held in there tight enough that, you know, I'm not super concerned about it. And one thing I might actually add on there would be just another piece of foam that we could slip inside. Now I've got a little bit of foam that rides in my battery container, and something like this, it's kind of got a little bit of stickiness. So like if you imagine, it holds on just with that tactile just being up against it. Okay, so unless it's the wood, it doesn't hold so good too. But this we can stuff in with the first pack and kind of hold that where we want it positionally. Okay, so that's my plan for that. Well, I mean, not this exact piece, although this exact piece could also go in there. One thing that I'm really nervous about is cooling on these EDFs, or not the EDFs, but the ESCs that are in here. So I did do some research, and I printed off an image, which evidently I didn't bring it down yet, but that image is actually going to indicate that there's actually inlets that are somewhere in this general vicinity, and so I'm probably going to cheat some in. The problem is, as you know, this is all like a solid block here, and I don't want to give up strength, so I may have to cheat the vents forward a little bit, meaning the vents are going to be up here, which is just not ideal. Really, I would like the vents to be here, but I want my LEDs and they're going to be there, so I can't do that. Or if I were to cut here and make it lift up and just have it so that it venturis through, that would be fine, but I don't see that happening. So that being said, I may end up just cutting out here and then, you know, doing a vent cover that would stop road spray from getting up in there. So right now, EDF balance time. Oh, and then the third battery configuration while we're at it. I'm sorry guys, I know I keep sidetracking. This is what happens when you get close to being done with a project. Okay, so you see that thing fits good. 2200 3S. Okay. What would be really nice is if I could get them in this way, because then I could definitely fit 2 side by side. But I don't know that this is going to be my configuration. But it will be my configuration for this test, because I want to test that the 40 will be enough or really close to enough for the balancing of the EDFs. Now, we don't have to balance the EDFs at completely full speed, but it's probably not a bad idea to have them fairly close. And I don't know for sure yet if I can do this all at once, or if I have to go ahead and take off the wing and separate them out. Okay, so you can hear all the EDFs starting. Just working all the control surfaces. I had painted these surfaces, or these clevises and things, so it's probably a good idea to work them a little bit. Just make sure nothing's out of true. Throttle cuts off. Ailerons. Rudder. Okay, good. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to basically set this rig up so that we can try to do some balancing. Now, this is not going to be a full-blown balance. It's just going to be a minor balance, okay? Bad. And it's worse on the airliners because you exacerbate any imbalance by being on a wiggly base here, okay? we're just going to start with a very simple method, and we're just going to basically put, I would normally not use masking tape, so what we're going to do is we'll use some white electrical tape, and what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to balance it from the actual spinner, okay? And that's an easier way of doing it if you can get away with it. It doesn't always have enough authority to make the balance happen, but it's a lot easier to get them on there because you're not moving the weight as far. Okay, so I'm going to try to do it this way and see if we get lucky. Plus, it's just easier to see because the blades obviously aren't numbered or anything, and there are 6 blades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what we do is we'll just stick this on the one side. And the reason we do that is because that's also a scale detail if it ends up working out good. So throttle cut is off. Wow. I must have got really lucky because that made a big improvement. I can't believe it, but it did. So I'm just going to do a second piece and see if it's better or worse or indifferent. Okay? So there's a second piece. Okay, it seems to be worse off with that change. So that means we had either really lucky amount. Now I'm just going to take and move this one. And I'm not going to do this for all 4 on the video because the video would be ridiculous. I'm going to move it forward because that changes its position relative to the circumference of the spinning object. So it's going to make a lesser impact here. Okay, worse. And it's just a better or worse. It's like you going to the eye doctor. The problem is you're the eye doctor and you're the one fixing it. So you got to have some idea of what you're trying to accomplish, of course. Okay. I can't say that there was a... Ah, son of a gun. There was a marked improvement there. Okay. And it is possible that the spinner's off and not the blades, or the fan itself. I just can't believe we got that lucky. So now, because we don't know for sure we're right, we're always going to go the same way. We're always going to turn them... Let's just turn them clockwise, okay? So then we'll go to the second of 3 points that I want to test. Okay, I'm only going to do 3. Limit your choices. I would say that this one is vibrating a little bit less than its partner to the left, okay? And we're just going to keep doing this process until we see an improvement. And it is possible that you won't get it a huge improvement, but you'll be better, I guarantee you. Okay? Not an improvement. So we need to go back 1 or 2 steps. So we'll just go forward 1 step, which will put us back in the original position. So now I want to move it split the difference after we verify. Improved. I would say the second one is the best improvement. So we're going to go there with it. Okay? That's the best improvement so far, by far. So now what we're going to do is we're going to walk it one way, we're going to walk it the other. And we'll be able to just fine tune to a certain extent how much vibration gets left on this fan by doing this. Yes, there are other methods, and yes, there are tools you can buy, and sure, there's always tools, guys. But my channel is not about what tool to buy next. It's about how to do this stuff. Oh yeah, that is a huge improvement. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is if that was an improvement, then I'm going to think that there should be a little bit more improvement if we continue walking that way. Okay? But then at some point the improvement drops back off, okay? Because the next position over was bad. Remember, you're always dealing with where you were to where you're improving. And you're walking into the improvement until you go past and you come back. Big improvement. And I'm testing about just below half. Okay, big improvement, keeping in mind that that tape will shoot off. So now I want to try to bring it back, straight back, and a little bit further over. Try to control as many variables as you can to get this to work right. Okay, second thing I'm going to do real quick is just do a quick test on puffiness. No puffiness going on. And I'm going to put a voltage alarm on here because I hadn't really seriously considered the fact that I could destroy this pack. And I don't want to, so I'm going to put this little voltage alarm on here. By the way, if you guys don't have these voltage alarms, what are you doing? Just get some. They're super cheap. If you don't have them or you don't have a good source, just look on my links below. They're in my links. And they're one of the best tools to have around. And then you can test individual voltage. You can test, geez, that thing is already kind of pissed. Whatever. Okay, here we go. Big improvement. If you guys could feel it, you would know. And there is a certain amount of resonance that you get from EDFs, even if they are somewhat balanced, okay? Sure, in a perfect world, you could probably get them perfect, but I just, you know, I'm not living in that perfect world, so kind of like, case in point, I just dropped that piece of tape. So the one thing I am going to try to do is I'm going to try to keep my tape chunks consistent to make it easier on myself. Because if they're super inconsistent from one another, you can't add more. Like there's one piece right there. And then we'll show you how we're going to do this. We'll get the initial adjustment done here, and then I might pause it. So, okay, remember, just start wherever, right? And there is a point where you're going to be satisfied. Just be satisfied and move on. You don't have to sit there and keep reevaluating the seat. That's actually a big improvement too. I just can't believe how big of an improvement I'm getting on the first try. There's, you know, let's just arguably there's 360 degrees in this circle, and one movement would be, I'd say maybe five degrees, if that. So we're getting very lucky. That's an improvement. Not an improvement for the first. It's about the same. Make sure you do press them down, otherwise they'll pop off. Okay. I don't feel like that was a big improvement. So I'm going to go back to between the first and second steps. I'm going to center this thing up. And this is by feel, guys. You're just feeling for vibration. Okay? I can't say that that was a big improvement. I want to move back to one of the first 2 points. Okay. And I'm going to go back further this time, which is going to impact change a little bit more. And when we're done, we'll take the spinner off and we'll put some glue inside or something like that, so you don't have a piece that's going to come off. Okay. Alright guys, so you get the idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it, and I will come back and give you kind of a final. As my batteries wear down, I'll probably go ahead and switch them out if necessary. Alright guys, so I've got 3 pieces of tape on here and 3 pieces of tape on here. It seems to have really helped. It's going to be kind of hard to see it on video, so you just have to take my word for it, guys. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attempt to hang on to the bell housing of the motor here, and I'm going to see if I can get this off without causing damage, okay? This is the wrong size screwdriver. We'll try going with the factory one here. Okay, so I broke it free, so now I'm going to back this out. Okay. So we're going to take the spinner off, and I'll show you exactly how to go ahead and do the balance from the inside. Okay, so this screw is super small. I'm going to stick it to this magnet, which I'm going to stick here, and then I'm going to go ahead and hopefully take this spinner off. Now, I'm not 100% certain how it all goes together, so sometimes they don't like coming off very good. Whoa. Holy crapolas. That was like way easier than I thought it was going to be. So, that's not usually the way it works in my experience. So this is incidentally where you would be able to trim down your blades as well. Okay? If you would need to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this same exact pieces of tape, and understanding that there's some support structure inside of here, you have to try to relocate it in approximately the same spot. Okay? But it's going to be slightly less far out. So really, this is where having some practicality comes in. You just kind of got to get the thing in there, so don't overthink it. Now you can also take and remove material from the opposite side and things like that, but I found that to be extremely difficult to get right. Sure, you can do it, but you got to have some skills to pay the bills, people. And evidently I don't have those particular skills to pay the bills, so just going to use this Q-tip to press it down. Now this is just electrical tape, but now the centripetal force is going to force it in. And I'm going to, for good measure, I don't know, I'm going to try nothing, preferably. And you do have to keep an eye on these things, not like open them up and check. I'm just saying you have to listen. If something comes out of balance again, you'll have to resolve it. This sort of crap is just part of the hobby that's, in my opinion, a little bit annoying. And yes, you can actually technically balance these. I know that you can buy tools to do such things. I'm not trying to poo-poo any of that. I'm more concerned with trying to help people figure this out without having to always constantly go out and buy a $30 tool here and a $14 bottle of glue here. And I mean, granted, there's a certain time and place for that, guys. You're going to have to buy some stuff. But when it comes to, you know, like, hey, I'm going to use this twice in my life, but there's a method I can do without the tool, why would you buy it? That's just stupid. Well, that's my opinion, of course. Now, remember approximately where it was, because obviously you want to try to get it on in the closest fashion you can. And so my mark was kind of coming this way. So I'm just going to hold the bell housing with my back two fingers here of the motor. It's a brushless outrunner, so there's a bell housing, which is kind of the thing that goes around the outside. In this case, it's elongated because it's an EDF. Okay, cool. So these screws suck, so be careful. You're going to have to put some positive pressure on there to get it to not strip. I have to assume that this thing is keyed, or how the heck else would it be staying in position, you see? But I don't feel any key at all. That's crazy. That makes me actually quite nervous all of a sudden, that those things are going to slip like crazy and clutch on me. Okay, so we got that one fairly tight. Let's test again. Throttle cuts off. It's a marked improvement. And you're going to have to take my word for it, because you're not going to be able to feel it through the video. Although if Feel-O-Vision comes out, whoa, buddy. It's going to be a little popular online. Alright, so same thing here. We're going to do that here, and then we've got to do the other side. So, probably going to pause it here, give you some final updates when we're done, let you listen to it. And you can always pause it and go right back and listen to the before and after if you prefer. Alright folks, so I'm back. I did all these, and when I got onto this side I realized, wow, I'm not using enough tape, so I had to redo these. Not redo, I added more. And the cool thing is, when you do this, if you do it right, I'm going to put that up there. I'm going to show you how much I put on here. It's a a huge difference in sound, and you get thrust earlier, and you can see I'm like right in that same vicinity. I've had blades that I've had to balance where I actually have weight that goes on the other side. That just means you got a little bit too much, and you'll find that it balances out a little bit better when you throw it in there. Now this one, I put it right on top of the other two pieces. It ended up working out exactly. So this is a lot more tape than I had expected, guys. Let's see if I can get you a little better view of that. So that's good there. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this back on, and I'll show you what it sounds like. Alright guys, so here we go. It's a huge improvement. That's at 50% throttle. Guys, this thing's going to be maidening possibly in like 20 minutes. I'm very excited. Oh, I got to try to do some holes real quick. Alright guys, so we're done with the balancing of the EDFs, and everything sounds good. I found the picture I was looking for earlier. We got these two vent holes that would be actually about in this general vicinity, but that's just a horrific place to work because the wing box right here at the wing root where everything is together, there's a bunch of balsa wood structure and everything, so we're not going to be able to get air in very easy at that specific spot. But what I was thinking is we already have kind of an opening here. The only difference is there's this kind of like a lip here, so I want to cut it to open it up, or at least open up a portion of it, and that'll give us a little bit more ventilation, but I don't want to lose structural stability. So I was thinking rather than cutting it, I might just meld it back inside to allow the air to come in. You can already push air in there if you put your mouth up against it, you can blow air in, but it's just very small amount because there's no exit. So we need to give it encouragement to get in and out of there. Now I do have the APU hole that I made, which is just kind of a happy accident. So I think we can cheat in a vent that looks like this back here. So for now we're going to go ahead and get some hot. We're going to get something hot, and we're going to melt this thing into itself so that it's still got the strength, because this is pretty thin, but then I'm probably going to notch out a little teeny bit of it in the middle. So that's my plan. We're going to start that now. So the first step on this process will be pretty simple, like we've done in the past, but much higher consequence because the plane is kind of like in that done stage, ready to fly. We're literally loading the car right now, and so I'm a little nervous about this. And as with any other maiden I do, I'm going to be, I gotta turn on my exhaust vent, make sure I don't set the fire alarm off. Unplug that, and then it can suck the air up. And we better turn this on too. So basically, as with any other maiden that I do, I always try to bring a plane that's very simple to fly for me. I mean, it's all within your own limits. And I will fly that first to confirm the atmospheric conditions that you can't necessarily always see on the ground, especially on a maiden that's important. I mean, I do a lot of maidens, so because I have a lot of planes, but they're always important to me, or I wouldn't be doing them. The principal item being that you have something that you're very comfortable with, you know is going to fly well in, you know, whatever environment you're expecting, and then you just go for it, you know. You fly it, you make sure you got all your nerves about you, or your wits about you, and then you go to it. You just don't dink around a lot. You maybe get one flight into practice, and then you make sure you're sharp, you make sure the conditions agree with what you want for a maiden on a given plane, and then you just go for it. I had to get really psyched up for that one because it was kind of the same scenario, tons of effort getting into it, and then next thing you know, I'm out here doing a taxi test, and I realize, okay, I'm gonna fly right now. Well, I didn't have the CG worked out properly, but at the same time it still went about as good as it could go considering I had the CG off a lot. Okay, so you can see I haven't lost material, just a little bit of it I've lost. So it's still got the same amount of strength, which is pretty minimal, but we've got a little bit more, we're not going to have as much reluctance to get that air through. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, again, reluctantly, I'm going to open up a couple of pockets here. So it's going to be similar to this. Starting from the cool point and working it toward me. You see what I'm doing? I'm just working it toward me. And I'm just opening it up. Okay? And then let it cool. Don't go like nuts on this, because this is going to, you want this to look good. Okay? So now we're making this at a steep angle. Try not to get stuck to your magnets. And then when you're done, you can use a sharp X-Acto knife to actually clean it up a little bit. Now symmetry helps a little bit when you're trying to pass a functional detail as a scale detail. So if you can do it symmetrical, it will obviously help a little bit. At least in my experience, that's the way it's worked. I feel like this plane's turned out pretty good. And it's not always about the decals, guys, but once you get the lines right, the decals, man, they just sell it. I love it. Okay. So now we got this passage that's just going to allow that air that's reluctant to enter. And keeping in mind that there's a certain amount of drag that you add when you do this type of hole, so you don't want to just like be going nuts about it. You do want it to be somewhat smooth. Once it's into the cavity, though, it's going to displace the air that's in there, which is going to in turn cool your ESCs with a level of efficiency that's equivalent to the airspeed, or proportional to the airspeed, rather. See how I've kind of rolled that lip over? That worked good. So get it hot and then roll the lip down with the cooler portion until it's had a chance to cool. That did make a pretty clean finish. Now the idea is with heat, you don't lose material, which means you don't lose the strength here that you had. I mean, you lose a little bit because you're displacing it, so it's not able to do it in the same position that it was. But it's going to be better than just totally cutting it out in this part. Now I'm going to go for that kind of shape of the vent, but I'm not necessarily going to try to pass this as a vent. This is just going to be a functional thing that, you know, one could maybe confuse as having been scale. Of course, we all know it's not scale. If you're watching this video series, you know it's not scale. See? And then I've got my battery puller that's kind of blocking that, so I can just cut that and trim that down. So that's going to allow for significantly better input. Oh yeah, tons better. And I mean, the blow test is a little bit awkward, guys. You know what I mean? So, I mean, just do it. It's nobody's watching. Unless you're filming it. Alright, so this needs to be trimmed back a little bit. I made it extra wide so it'd be easy to grab and it would dissipate the load as I pull on it. But I found that it was actually maybe just a little bit too big, in fact. Okay, and then this is just regular packing tape, nothing special here. I've done this a couple of times throughout the process. I've had to redo it a couple of times to get it to the right position and things like that. And since it's clear, you're not going to see it, but you also don't want it to stick out too much because that can impact your flight performance a little bit. Alright guys, so we've got that there. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to make a mating entry hole here and here. Okay, so now that's still accessible. It's still got plenty of material there to grab onto. Alright, so now we're going to just do a little bit more shaping there. Now this side, I'm a little bit reluctant to use heat because you're going to be able to see the damage, okay? So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go ahead and use a knife. And I'm going to go ahead and mimic that shape. I'm just going to draw a little triangle that's flat on the top, and then a triangle. Now remember, we're just kind of trimming from nothing to a little bit. We're not going to actually cut out that much, okay? Okay, we're going to try to our best. And the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to not cheat. We're just going to grab a piece of tape. We don't even have to use the piece of tape. We'll leave it on the roll. By the way, if somebody could explain to me why masking tape is so extraordinarily expensive, it's like so much more than any other tape. Probably because they know they can. But how else are you going to do it, you know? So, they know they can. Alright, cool. So we've got a perfect start point and end point. And yes, I know some of you are cringing right now. Believe me, my soul is cringing as I do this. I don't want to do this, but it's necessary. You want to run EDFs, you better be prepared to cut some vent holes, because if you don't, you're not going to fly your EDF too often. You might get one flight out of it if you're lucky. Okay? Vents, especially if you have an integral EDF in the fuselage and you're trying to get air to the EDF itself. That's the #1 way to improve an EDF plane that you have that sucks, is just make air, get air in. You will hear that thing suck the breeze while it's flying. Of course, I get the stupid whatever that thing is there. See, I'm taking the blade's got this sharp edge, the chisel goes up, so I'm just walking it at about as steep an angle as I can get. I don't want it to break off at the end, so I'm going to have to probably support this, but I don't want to cut my finger off. So I'll use just another knife to give some backing. Guys, I don't know if you saw Ramy's video. Oh my goodness. Ramy RC, you are the man. That thing is gorgeous. As much as I think this thing is gorgeous, your plane is at least 15 times nicer. That thing is just amazing. I can't believe how much time he's put into that thing. A little disappointed he's going to jet engines, though. I really wish somebody would come through with a big old EDF for him. Because EDFs, you know, you start getting into jet engine world and it's like, it's not for me, you know. I can't fly a jet engine anywhere. Okay, that hole's big and it's potentially ugly, so I am going to have to do a little bit of heat shaping. So I got to just cross my fingers and make sure I'm very careful. In fact, I'm very careful, meaning I need to clean this. So I'm going to come at it with some heat. Paper towel, wipe it, heat, wipe it. Don't burn yourself unless you absolutely insist on it. I know what you're thinking, Brian, come on, you're killing it. Trust me, I know. I'm with you guys. I want it to look perfect too, but I would rather have it live to see another day, guys. We gotta have vents somewhere, alright? I know exactly what you're thinking, guys. Why are you doing this, Brian? No, we watched 57.5 videos for a total of 100 hours of our lives. Yes, I realize that. I was on the other side of the camera, I was with you. Out you come, plug. I'm just trying this with heat this time to see if I get a little better outcome, because I was not happy with how much material came out of that. It's a little toasty on that thing, I wonder why. Okay, there's the stuff I'm used to seeing. Okay, so now, because I kind of screwed that up a little bit, which sucks, the big one, I got to come up with a bit of a solution, and I think I've already got a solution in mind, and it's very, very simple. First of all, I want to get them even. Okay, that's even enough for me. Now, I'm going to cut down this way, peel it out, cut down this way, and peel it out. And then I'm going to go ahead and dive this in, try to get that nose trimmed out of there. Yep, okay, perfect, 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 perfect. Hey, look at that, guys. I got a little piece. I could glue that back in. And then I could reshape that down. I don't know if I'm going to do that, though. I'm just going to hang on to these little, like, pseudo plugs here. I'm going to come back at it with a sharp knife to clean up this little bit and to clean up this little bit. Okay, my pulling tape just popped off. Dang it. I'll have to redo that now. Not a big deal. Not the end of the world by any means. I'll just put it like this for now. You know what? That's probably enough. Okay, so coming back to... I wanted to keep this all opened up, or I wanted to keep this running, but I'm just going to go ahead and de-energize it. I'm just afraid I'm going to cause a problem if I keep it all plugged in like that. Alright, so, getting back to the scary steps. I don't know about you guys, but when I get into one of these steps that I just really am dreading, I wait as long as I can and do every other thing I can. Because I just hate the idea of potentially coming in and screwing it up. And I'm not going to sit here and say I screwed this up. I think it's going to be fine. And I can take it off and really detail it nicely. But for now, I think we've sold it enough. I think it's going to work. I just want it a little bit better. I really would like it a lot better, actually. And to be honest with you, the way I'm going to make it a lot better is pretty simple. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now. I think I might wait until after the maiden. Because I'm probably going to take and make a piece of plastic that's very close to the same color. Sorry about the interruption, guys. That was Cameo Extraordinaire, Mr. Esteban. Ooh, that's a good angle. I like it. Alright guys, it's not pretty, but it's gonna work. And when I say not pretty, it's as pretty as it can be given the circumstances, I think. Maybe a little luck could have been on our side more here, but I'm satisfied with the way it's going to operate. That's the important part, guys. You gotta have this thing operate. If you catch stuff on fire while it's flying, it just doesn't fly near as good when it's on fire, especially when it's made of foam. Okay, so now my next step, of course, is going to be to make sure that I don't have a bunch of knobs and crap in there. So I'm just going to rip them off if I find them. I'm going to keep that airflow fairly smooth, which will help to minimize some of the drag that we've induced. And then we're going to... Where in the heck did I put my knife? There it is. I'm going to come over here and kind of do the same. Yes, 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 that's what I was going for right there. Now that we have the vast majority of the material gone, I can actually trim it better. Yes, so much better. Now I'm just going to fix this, guys. I'm just going to make it right now, in front of your very own eyes. had to enlarge this side to make it match the other side. That's what I was just doing there, guys, because this side is going to have to deepen up a little bit so I can clean up the slop. Yes, yes. I'm actually going to intentionally press down the corners on that. Yes, that looks good now. Now I've got a bit of an angle there, so I'm going to go a bit of an angle this here too. X-Acto knife down to the approximate depth and X-Acto knife into the corner. That gives us our reference. And then I'm just going to do the exact same thing, just a little bit more. And if some of you are wondering, are you nervous about losing structural strength when you do this? Absolutely, I am 100% worried about it. But I'm more worried about a fire. If there's one thing that's worse than snakes on planes, it's fires on planes. I never even saw that movie. I shouldn't speak to it. What a stupid premise. Probably had a bunch of stupid CGI to make the planes look like their snakes were flying it or some ridiculous thing like this. At least Sharknadoes wasn't serious about it. Yes! We're getting so close to having this satisfactory. That side sucks so bad compared to this side. I hate it when that happens, guys. Come on, symmetry, give me a break. I didn't want to spend this time on your symmetry here. Alright guys, if you have a little problem spot like this, I'm going to teach you a trick. I learned it long ago. It's called glue something in and then melt it. Okay? Medium CA. Okay? Come on now. I am not cleaning your tip right now. You can sit in the corner and think about what you've done. Yes. You ready to work? I'm using you instead. This is thin, that's kind of migrated its way to medium. Which is what happens when you don't use it as frequently. Okay, so I'm going to glue that on there, giving myself a little bit extra boost in length, which is something many would like to do. I'm just doing it. Mommy, what is he talking about? Little Johnny will explain it later. Ah, dang it. I need to fill a little bit more CA into this corner, yeah. Now what's going to happen is this CA will more or less chemically react and cure, whatever you want to call it. And then we're just going to cut it back out, except we're going to do it correct and not screw up big time on it. And when I say screw up big time, I am being hard on myself because it's actually pretty easy to... You know, foam will do that. It will break at the seams of the two balls that were connected, because these are all just balls that get squished together and compressed. Lick your fingers, squish it together. Guys, this is stopping the maiden from happening right now. I need it to be done. Cut it out, Airbus. I know you want to stay on the ground and be beautiful, because you're much more beautiful than your brothers and sisters. But still, we need to fly. You'll be even more beautiful if you can fly. We all agree. Okay, so now we're just going to let that be correct. Now I need to cut a very definitive and very poignant line here. So I'm going to use my knife. And I'm going to clean the blade. In fact, I am going to put a new blade in right now. I'm going to grab the blade and I'm going to work it out. Jeez, that thing is just in there. Oh, well, there's your problem. Yeah, I think I might have had a little too much fun with this one. Yes, got it. Sorry, garbage man. Hope you don't chop your fingers off. Whoa, buddy. I want to go for a sharper one. These are my used blades. I'm not going to put a brand new blade in here to heat it up and ruin it. That's actually quite sharp. Jeez, why did I take that one out? What the heck was I thinking about? Man. Well, I'm going to heat it up anyway. Because it was in my reject blades, so I suppose there's a reason I rejected it. Okay, we're going for heat. Now, why heat, Brian? Why not just use a sharp blade? Because I'm coming through CA, dude. Watch. Oh, yeah, you don't want to inhale that stuff. Well, I mean, some people probably would, but I'm not one of those guys. Oh, yeah, that's the deadly stuff right there. Oh, yeah. Lick the fingers, touch it, don't get burned. That was a heck of a song. Should probably change my genre to music. Oh yeah. Oh yes. 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 It's so good. And if you're watching right now, Robert, and I know you do occasionally, Captain Blush, I did not get that from you. But you do remind me of it every time you do it, so sorry. Here, melty, right there. Yeah, it's gonna be good. We're gonna fix it, guys. Is it gonna live, Daddy? Yes, yes, Johnny, it will live. Now, one problem is this thing's a little wide. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I'm going to clean the tip. Guys, another lessons for life. Use a clean tip, okay? Works for many applications. Lick the fingers. Oh, yes. We are getting so close. But we're not there yet. Not yet. Not even close. Yes, we are. We're very close. I'm just kidding, guys. Another 14 videos we'll have made in it. I'm just kidding, guys. Don't stop the video. I'm just joking. We're going to main it in like 20 minutes. I really, 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 really hope. I literally have my wife loading the car right now. The children are probably sitting in the car saying, why are we sitting here? They wouldn't even say that. They belong to me. They know. Oh, guys. Isn't it funny how you're doing a project like this and then all of a sudden you have to make a repair? Oh, wait, that's me. Oh, yes. So much better. So very much better. We have the sharp, delicious line. It's 95% of the way there. Just one more little heat touch and I think we'll be there. Oh, yes. Wonderful. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The ventilation gap. They're uneven! How did this happen? Who is doing this? You know what? They're uneven, but they're the asymmetry is all part of the design of the system because of the rotor girders. Just kidding, guys. I made that up. When you're trying to cut CA with a knife like this, the heat makes it cut, but you just got to be careful when you transition into pure foam, because it will go away a little quicker. Oh, yes. Oh, baby. That is good. That is so good. Well, that'd be kind of cool. I just thought of something crazy. Nope, not even going to say it. I'm just going to keep it in my noggin. Unlike 99% of the stuff I say on this channel. Could get me in trouble, so I'm just not going to say it. Oh, look at that. We got a corner to tighten up, and then I think we're there. Oh, yes. Guys, sometimes with this better quality EPO, or EPP, or whatever, this is EPO, I believe, you can actually heat it and then squish it with your fingers. and you can get that shape you want. Okay, I'm done screwing with it. It's done. This part's done, okay? It's done. It looks good. They're even. They're beautiful. They have happy families and lives. Oh, who am I talking about? I'm talking about my airplane, aren't I? Time to redo this. Now that we've got access to it and we're kind of in between steps. Okay, so this is just, you'll notice there's a little kind of junk on there. That is the clear coat that they use at the factory that will make your decals very difficult to put on. So if your name is Michael, you have some decals, make sure that you double check that you don't have that problem before you install any decals that may or may not have come from me. Oh, your decals are going on top of other decals, so you should be fine. Yes, here it is. Here it is, guys. I hope nobody picks up on my secret message. It just came out. Michael, it's just between you and me, mister. It's our little secret. You, me, and everybody else that watches this. And their families. And the dog. That's what happens when you tell a YouTuber something. It's over. It's no longer secret. It's like telling your wife something. That could probably get me in trouble too, I wonder. We'll have to wait and see if she watches it. She won't watch this far into the video, I'm hoping. So maybe it'll go unnoticed. Oh good, she's not behind me. Whew. That was close. Okay. Down you go, tape. Now we want to try to get as much contact area on the bottom as we can get while still having enough tail to be useful. And then you want it to be flat-ish. And you can accomplish a very good result by doing that. Look how beautiful it is. Okay, now let's make it very beautiful by trimming the corners with the angle of the vents that are totally scale and not for cooling EDFs. Whoa. Woo. Jeez. Oh, yes. Look at that. It doesn't look like eyeballs on the bottom of the airplane at all. Unless you look at it squarely. And then you imagine a nose. And then this weird tongue sticking out. Other than that, it doesn't look like that. Alright guys, we got to get some exit holes. And I'm not talking about a poop chute. What am I doing? Right here and here. It's gonna be similar. I want to get it away in case I ever do retracts. I want to make sure I leave room for lights, good stuff like that. I also want to make sure that I have access. But you know what I'm going to do, guys? It's something you rarely see. It's an unseen event, or nearly unseen event, for the Brian Phillips. I am going to not overthink it. Hilarious joke! Please, please, please not be screwed up. Okay, remember, I've got a cut here, okay? And I'm trying to get the air to come out this time. Get the air to come out this time, okay? So I'm going to cut my steep angle. Kind of cutting it in that fan shape so it mimics the look of some of the Airbus vents and things of the sort. And yes, it's fairly big. What goes in must come out unless you want to leave it in there. In this case, we're referring to air. Nothing else. Okay? So, once in a while you'll run into a situation like this where you need to cut deeper and you can't because you're not long enough. Do this, and you will succeed. Jeez, what did my X-Acto knife just break? What is going on here? There we go. Okay. So you see what I've done, guys? It is pretty rocket science-y after all, I know. Uh-oh. It doesn't feel like I'm getting through anywhere. Uh-oh. Have I just marked the next spot on the map to not cut? I hope not, but it's possible. And if I did, I've got the plug, and I'll just make it look like I was trying to make panel lines. Oh, good lordy. Good lordy, please come out. Oh, this is really nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking experience, guys. Extremely nerve-wracking. Not just slightly nerve-wracking. I mean, if there's such a thing as, like, slightly nerve-wracking, I think it's pretty much generally going to be nerve-wracking as extreme. Or it wouldn't be racking. Wowzers. Alright, guys. Here goes nothing. Oh, buddy. It's plug time. Son of a biscuit. Get out of there! Get out of there! You know you want to be free! Oh, thank you! Okay, so we'll just, it's already taped, so might as well leave it there. Okay, look at that. That is a beautiful, why didn't those go that easy? Jeez! Okay, now the hole shall be trimmed internally like so, using our super gigantic long X-Acto knife. Don't forget to wear safety glasses and a nut cup. What? Just in case. That's the way it is at all the plants I go. Well, safety first, Ryan. So, yeah, you need to put that seatbelt on, even though you're literally backing up the forklift 16 inches. Yeah, you could die in an injury. Well, I kind of beg to differ, but still. Yeah, I'll put that thing on. Yes. That is dangerous. It's like a samurai sword. Oh, look at this vent, guys. Oh, it's gorgeous. I'm so happy with that vent. Oh my goodness. You complete me, vent. You do. That's so good. Wowzers. Somebody tell me if my wife comes in, I don't want her to hear me talking about somebody else that way. Oh, she's not in the other room. Never mind. We're good. That vent hole looks awesome, guys. It's totally not scale, and you would never know the difference unless you're an airplane aficionado. And why would you be an airplane aficionado watching a video like this? Huh? Okay. Sorry, I'm answering all my own questions today. I gotta rotate this thing. I'm gonna pause it. Alright, guys. Trick of the day. Trick of the day here, guys. Here we go. Watch this. You're never gonna believe what I'm gonna do. You're never gonna believe it. But you're gonna believe it after you see it. Because you will have just seen it. And then you'll believe it. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, that didn't work as good as I was hoping. But, oh no. I don't want to be contaminated with that crap. Get off! It's a good time to pick up all that junk. So, I'm going to wash my hands. I don't want to get black lead all over this. Sorry, note to self, there's no lead in the pencil. Unless it was really awesome, and then I would keep it forever, because it'd probably be the best pencil, and it would last for 100 years. We're just gonna get rid of that, though. It's graphite, people. So, here's my plan. I'm trying to transpose this exact size and shape so that I can exactly make it agree on the exact other side. Now, yes, you could take the plug, but the plug is gonna probably not be a good representation for us. So, let's just see if we can pop that down. Yes, that is... Oh yeah, we can just trace that perfectly. I'm going to get this traced perfectly by using a different type of tape this time. We're Rather than using the masking tape, I'm going to run the risk of peeling off some of the finish, which is no big deal. Hi! That was a samurai cut noise. Just didn't really work that well. Is there like a designated samurai cut noise? I don't think there is. I may have to start one. And if I do, it's probably going to need to be a little better than that one I just made. You know, actually taping over this would help to reinforce the strength of the now compromised airframe. Oh, this is going to be a pretty good outcome, I think. Oh, you son of a tape! I knew you would do something like this to me. Alright, we're going to try again. We're going to try again, guys. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a nice guy. And I'm going to take the plug and I'm going to stick it right there because I actually realized the plug is sitting there. Oh yeah, that's pretty dang good right there. Now I can just, you know, make sure I'm lined up by putting a piece of tape here. Because I want this to be perfectly aligned or it's going to look stupider than it already would. Oh yeah. It's kind of awkward because it's clear, you know, it's hard to see, but I can see enough to make the cuts. And to be honest with you, it's going to be better than eyeballing it. Because we all know that your eyeballs can lead you into dangerous things. Like taking on projects of Airbus A380s that were made by Tian Sheng or whatever this... Oh, sorry, not Tian Sheng. Tian Sheng. Yes. Because you may not realize how much time you're going to spend. Next thing you know, your kids are grown up, they're out of the house, and what have you done with your life? Well, you'll have one nice plane to show for it, that's provided it flies, which you haven't even proven yet. Kids are now out of college, and you're just getting ready to go do the maiden. Next thing you know, your dog dies. Dang it. Somebody's listening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut this plug out. And then we are going to get in the car. And we're going to fly this thing. We're going to fly the pants off of it. Which is very awkward sounding now that I say it. I think maybe since this is a family show, we should keep the pants on. Yeah, we're going to keep the pants on. But you guys can take yours off if you want. I mean, I don't care what you do while I'm filming. Yeah, family show, Brian. Just think family show. Would pants come off? Okay, yeah. Guys, these vent holes surprisingly don't totally suck. I am thrilled, amazed, surprised, excited. You should see all the faces that are in this little kid's learning book, and all these angry. Sorry, some of these jokes are going to go over your head, since you may not have 2- and 3-year-olds running around annoying and making messes everywhere. I mean, I don't do that. I'm just clean and pure as the wind-driven snow here, people. It dropped. Alright guys, look at that. Look. That's from Roberts. Look. He loves it. But that's okay. I do too. Look how awesome they look. Just getting a little bit more trimming done. And, you know, it's time for that awkward blow test. Okay, ready? Now block the other hole. For those of you with breathing tubes, you'll know exactly what's going on there. Air goes in, and then it comes back out. And the exit holes look very good. I'm happy with those. They shouldn't hopefully interfere with future mods. And the entry holes, They look okay. They're not as good as I had hoped. But you know what? Given the circumstances, and we couldn't cut a hole like this up here. You know, we didn't have the real estate for it. And I feel like we got the best of both worlds, guys. This thing is gonna be awesome. And it's gonna be awesome very soon. Look. I mean, you can't even tell. It's like, whoop, I dropped, nope, I still have the page in my hand. This thing is gonna be great. The only thing to be better is some flaps, LEDs, logo lights for the tail, anti-crash beacons top and bottom, strobes on the wingtips, nose gear landing lights here, flaps, I've already said that, leading edge slats, air brakes, reverse thrust. The laundry list will continue. Yes, it will. But it's going to be awesome. And you guys will come back. I know you will. Check the description. I've got the whole list. The whole list of all the videos, guys. If you missed one, just check there first. And then you can ask me, hey, where's the radio set up, Brian? Well, it's already in the description. Check it out. Also, scroll down. Buy some stuff. Help support the channel. The more you support the channel, the more I will make videos about things of this sort. Maybe if you support me enough, I'll buy another airliner. And I'll waste many hours on it as well. Come back for more. Maiden next.